Hello everyone, this is Daniel Orion from Mannschaft Forever, and we recently witnessed a surprising defeat of the German national team at the hands of Mexico at the World Cup here. It was the first game in the group. Germany, of course, being the World Cup champions, were the favorites, and they were defeated by Mexico, who had been looking shaky all the way up to this game. So obviously this stunned the world, and there's a lot of questions to be asked now when it comes to where the German national team actually is in terms of ability. Is there a risk of them not making it out of the group now? I think there's still a very good chance for them to get out of the group, but after this defeat, it shows a couple things, most notably, and I was one of the people arguing that the recent results that had looked lackluster for Germany weren't that big of a deal, and that Germany was going to step up when it came to the World Cup. But the most important game passed by, and they didn't really look any stronger. Now, we do have to point out the differences between Germany being weak or Mexico just being strong and shutting them down, because there are some areas where it leaned more towards one side and some where it leaned more towards the other. Everyone had criticized Mexico's coach up until this point, but it seems he was planning on this strategy for a very long time, and he wasn't really settling on lineups so that the Germans wouldn't be able to counter their strategies. Meanwhile, Osorio, the Mexican coach, was studying the lineup of the German national team, and he actually countered it in a couple of ways pretty efficiently. So Germany plays with a 4-2-3-1 formation, so there's two midfielders more at the back and three attacking midfielders alongside the one striker. Of the two midfielders that are more towards the back, Toni Kroos is really the more important one, I feel. Khedira has recently been played more of as a box-to-box midfielder, where he comes back and defends, but he also moves up and joins the attack. And honestly, I think one of the problems, there were quite a few, but one of the problems for Germany in that game was that just Khedira is not as explosive of a player as he used to be. Some of the harsh criticisms that came out against Germany after the game ended were that some of the squad members just looked old. The Mexican team made them look old. They made them look inefficient, not at all like they used to look in 2014 when they won the World Cup. But Toni Kroos, with his great passing skills and good shooting skills, very resilient to being pressed, he's a very great player to have in the back, where you can pass the ball back to Kroos. He will see the field and he'll make a great pass to just pretty much build the attack. The attack almost a lot of the time starts with Toni Kroos. And Juan Carlos Osorio noticed this, and he switched up the lineups, where even though on paper it was, I believe, a 4-3-3, when they were on the back foot and they were defending, one of the forward on the left, Lozano, would move all the way down to track Kimmich, so that Gallardo, their left wing back, who was probably the weakest player on the field, didn't have to handle Kimmich all by himself, and he would actually go back as an extra central defender, and Lozano would just make things hard for Kimmich there. Now, the right forward, instead of doing the same for Plattenhardt, he would actually just slip behind their striker, Chicharito, and he would man-mark Kroos relentlessly. He never left his marked man. And that actually did a fairly good job of nullifying Germany's attacks. Wow, there's just so much to go over. That was one of the cool things I just wanted to go over. It's crazy to think how much the Mexican team had actually prepared for this, so much that Osorio said he was very happy when they brought on Mario Gomez, which was it was a decision that I was hoping the German national team would make, as a fan of the German national team, wanting them to at least take the draw, because I like Mexico as well. I think they deserved that win with the game, but I also want Germany to do well, of course. So I was thinking, yeah, put in Gomez. He can get over the top of the defenders. He can maybe just score a win out of nowhere. But no, Osorio had planned for this. Apparently, they had spent the day or the day before the match, they had actually dedicated the entire practice to nullifying Gomez when they brought him on. So Osorio was just prepared for everything. It was nuts. So yeah, what could Germany have done better? It was pointed out to me later that Ozil was also not doing much. His play, much like Kroos, he's a builder, but from farther up in the area. You pass back to Ozil. He either passes back to Kroos or Khedira, or tries to make a run through the defenders. He's just great at passing, right? But he wasn't doing much. There were actually a few occasions where Ozil probably could have shot towards the goal to try and take it for himself, but that's just not how Ozil plays. And so he might have been, if his passing options are being cut off, then he's not doing much good there. I thought it was great that they brought on Marco Reus. He was also excellently covered. He really only had one good shot, and he didn't even look good when I saw it, until I saw it from a different angle, that he actually did have an angle where he shot towards goal. He just shot it too high. Other than that, nothing from Marco Reus, who is arguably one of Germany's best players, I would say. Kimmich, another contender for that spot, was extremely well nullified. Gomez, as I talked about, did nothing. Brandt almost did something. I thought that was really cool and showed why Sane was left out of the group in favor of Brandt. At first, I thought they had taken out Plattenhardt and to just put in an extra attacker, and they were going to play with some wacky 3-5-3 formation. But no, Brandt was literally the left back, and he would just go up. Brandt is normally a forward, so that's what I assumed, but no, Brandt is so flexible. He put him back at left back, and I was taken aback too when I saw him back there defending. I said, what is Brandt doing all the way back there? Well, it turns out he was a left back. Just crazy to think. It almost paid off. It was the shot that Brandt took was excellent, but in the end, Mexico did everything tactical that they needed to. And there's a lot of people saying Juan Carlos Osorio is a god. This is the most important victory the Mexican national team has ever achieved, which I might agree with. I don't know. Osorio is a guy that really likes to analyze everything, and if Mexico had lost to Germany, he would have definitely been criticized of over-analyzing everything, and now he's just the hero. I think there were some things that could have gone wrong. His methods paid off because Mexico came out and played to the level of their competition, just like they did in Brazil 4 years ago, just like they do historically. So for everyone that said that Mexico had a very good shot because of that, because they historically always come out and play extremely well against the big name groups, I didn't believe in that, and I was proven wrong. So you guys that had that belief were correct. Now, that's pretty cool for Mexico, because this means they might top the group and dodge Brazil, which is what they wanted to do. Knowing Mexico's luck after that draw with Switzerland, now Brazil might even take second in their group, and oh gosh, it was just, this entire first phase showed how all of what you would imagine the strongest teams in the world to be were just, they underperformed a bit. This video is coming out before the last games of Colombia, Senegal, and Poland are going to come out. But so far, Uruguay, Suarez was just he was terrible in that game. Messi had a terrible game. Spain, there were times in that game against Portugal where Portugal would make plays that would make me think, gosh, this team has nothing. but then Spain could only manage a draw. Of course, Ronaldo came out, played amazing, but Spain made some slip-ups that were just unforgivable. Almost. I mean, De Gea just practically giving them that second goal for free. That's just not something you see out of a world-class goalkeeper like that. Of course, Brazil drawing with Switzerland, not what was expected. France looked really shaky. I honestly, there's a chance they don't make it out of the group either. There's definitely that chance for Argentina as well. Of course, Germany, I feel will still make it out of the group, but let's talk about that because there is a little bit of a risk that they end up flopping. Sweden is a known giant killer by now. At this point, they were stuck in a group that they realistically shouldn't have been able to get out of. The Netherlands and France are two teams that have a huge history in football. They're always strong, and Sweden losing Zlatan Ibrahimovic and just no one giving them any chance of getting out of that group. Well, yeah, they left the Netherlands behind there. They were about to force a draw against France, but some goalkeeping mistake actually led them to get the win, and that's really what did it against Italy as well. It's that you just can't score against Sweden unless you're just in top form, and a team like Italy, whose offense is not its strongest point, or a team like France, who's just, it's bad for the level it should be playing at, giving its players. I always say France is, the problem with France is it's not a team, it's just a group of good players mashed together. There's really not the synergy you see from Spain or Germany. But Germany couldn't find the net either, so if they couldn't score against Mexico, Sweden, who conceded nothing to giants like Italy and France, could be the undoing of Germany. And as many of us know, there is a curse, a curse going around where the World Cup winner sometimes doesn't make it out of the group. It happened to Spain, it happened to France, it happened to Italy. So, yikes. But anyway, I mean, Germany, man, I love them, but if you're going to win the World Cup, you got to deserve it. And if Mexico or whichever team that defeats them deserves them more, then okay, let's start over. You know, one of Germany's strengths is how well they can learn from their mistakes. That's really what got them to this point in the first place, is that they failed to get to the final, and then they failed to get to the final again, and then they reformed the entire structure of football in Germany, and it really paid off, as we saw 4 years ago. So it's going to be tough now, but I'm really interested in seeing what Germany can do to defeat Sweden, because I think if they do defeat Sweden, they're getting out of this group no problem. So, you know, it's exciting. We'll see what Mexico can do as well, and yeah, maybe all the giants looking a little flimsy is a good thing for the World Cup. I certainly think it can be, just because now we don't know what's going on. We don't know who's going to come out in first. We don't even know if the giants are going to qualify. In my opinion, Argentina and France look especially troubling. So we'll see. Yeah, I'll keep checking in with what's going on, giving my 2 cents on everything. And yeah, have a good day, guys.